Hello, my name is Dr. Diwan S. Raja. Today I will discuss about the intercostal muscles. We have three intercostal muscles. These are the external intercostal, internal intercostal, and innermost intercostal muscle. Okay, so we got three muscles. This is the external intercostal muscle, number 1. Number 2, this is the internal intercostal muscle. Number 3, here is the innermost intercostal muscle. This is number 1, external intercostal muscle. 2, 3, okay, this is external intercostal muscle, internal intercostal muscle, innermost intercostal muscle. They are present from one rib to another rib. Okay, this is a rib, upper rib, this is the lower rib. This is rib, another rib is here. Okay, and this is the intercostal space, and we have three muscles: external intercostal muscle, internal intercostal muscle, innermost intercostal muscle. This is external intercostal muscle. Underneath it, we have the internal intercostal muscle. Underneath it, we have the innermost intercostal muscle. Now we go to the external intercostal muscle. Origin of the external intercostal muscle from the lower border of the rib above the intercostal space to the outer lip of the rib below. The origin is here from the lower part of the rib above to the outer lip of the upper border of the rib below. There is the origin and insertion. Nerve supply is from the intercostal nerve. Okay. Fiber direction. What is the fiber direction? Fiber direction is downward, forward, and medial. And this is the downward, forward, and medially. If you look from the lateral aspect, anteriorly we'll get this type of orientation, posteriorly downward and laterally, but most of the part it is downward, forward, and medially. And the external intercostal muscle is external to other two muscles, and this is the strongest intercostal muscle. Okay, we got origin, insertion, nerve supply, fiber direction. Then we go to the extent of the external intercostal muscle, from where to where it is located. Extent posteriorly from the tubercle of the rib anteriorly to the costochondral junction. Okay, posteriorly tubercle of the rib anteriorly to the costochondral junction. Okay. Then it continues from the costochondral junction as the external intercostal membrane. External intercostal membrane from the anterior part of the external intercostal muscle. This is an aponeurotic membrane. Okay, we got that posteriorly. Yes, we have our muscle is from the tubercle of the rib to the costochondral junction. Posterior to the tubercle of the rib, it is continuous with that of the costotransverse ligament to the posterior layer of the costotransverse ligament. Okay, we got the external intercostal muscle. Now we'll go to the internal intercostal muscle. Internal intercostal muscle. So the origin, we got origin is from the origin from the floor of the costal groove. Floor of the costal groove. Insertion to the inner lip of the upper border of the rib below. We got the insertion. Nerve supply, intercostal nerve. Okay. Extent of internal intercostal muscle. Extent. Okay. Extent from the lateral sternal border to the angle of the rib. Lateral sternal border to the angle of the rib. Then what? Then it continues as the internal intercostal membrane. Continues as the internal intercostal membrane. That is an aponeurotic membrane, and it is continued with the anterior lamina of the costo-transverse ligament. This part, this membrane will continues as the it will be blended with the anterior lamina of the costo-transverse ligament. We got the internal intercostal. Now we'll go to the innermost intercostal. Innermost intercostal was also called intercostalis intimi. Okay, so this muscle takes origin from the ridge above the costal groove. This is the costal groove. Ridge over the costal groove. Okay, its origin and insertion to the inner lip of the rib below, inner lip of the upper border of the rib below, from here to here. Okay, what is the nerve supply of innermost intercostal muscle? Nerve supply is the intercostal nerve. Okay, fiber direction of internal intercostal and innermost intercostal is same. Fiber direction. Okay, fiber direction is downwards, laterally, and posteriorly. Downward, laterally, and posteriorly, like this. So this is perpendicular. These fibers are perpendicular to that of the fibers of the external intercostal. So it is downward, forward, anteriorly. It is downward, backward, and posteriorly. The intercostalis intimi is same, fiber has same direction as that of the intercostalis internus. Okay, same direction. We got the origin insertion of the intercostal muscle, their nerve supply, and we got two membrane. One is internal intercostal membrane that will continue from the posterior part of the from the posterior part of the internal intercostal muscle. We have the external intercostal membrane that will continue from the costochondral junction as a continuation of the external intercostal muscle. Okay, and posteriorly we have the costo-transverse ligament. We have the posterior lamina that is continued with that of the posterior part of the external intercostal, and the anterior lamina of the costotransverse ligament is continuous with the internal intercostal membrane. Okay, we got that. So what structure, how can you differentiate what structure is present between the innermost intercostal and internal intercostal? This is the neurovascular bundle in the costal groove. We have the vein, we have the artery, we have the nerve. Okay, here is the vein, artery, nerve. Okay, these structures are present between the innermost intercostal and internal intercostal. We must remember that the neurovascular bundle is present between the innermost intercostal and internal intercostal. How about these? These are the collaterals. We have also, these are the collaterals. Collaterals. Okay. Their orientation may not be like that of the vein, artery, nerve. Okay. So nerve may be above here among the collaterals, but it is a collateral of the intercostal nerve. Okay. Artery is a collateral of the intercostal artery. Then the vein is a collateral of the intercostal vein. Okay, we got the neurovascular bundle between the internal intercostal and the innermost intercostal, that is also called intercostalis intimi. Fiber direction, downwards, forwards, medially, downwards, backwards, posteriorly. Internal intercostal. Innermost intercostal, same as internal intercostal, perpendicular to the muscle fiber direction of the external intercostal muscle. Okay, we got that. We got the muscles. Okay. Now we'll go to find out two more muscles. One is subcostalis. Another one is the transversus thoracis. Transversus thoracis, also called sternocostal. Okay, these muscles are important to us. Idea is that these muscles are in the same plane as that of the innermost intercostal. This muscle is present posteriorly, the posterior part of the intercostal space between the rib above to the rib below, almost vertical around the angle of the rib. Okay, it covers 2 or 3 ribs. These are small muscles. These are developed in the posterior intercostal space. Okay, transversus thoracis is present anteriorly from the xiphoid process, from the posterior aspect of the xiphoid process, from the lower costal cartilages, and they insert to the costal cartilages above it. Okay, above the origin. Okay, and these two muscles are in the same plane as that of the internal intercostal, as that of the innermost intercostal muscle. These two muscles are in the same plane. Nerve supply of subcostalis. Nerve supply is from intercostal nerve, corresponding intercostal nerve. Transversus thoracis or sternocostal nerve supply is from the corresponding intercostal nerve, like this. Okay, this is the rib, cut section of this is the spongy part of the rib, compact part of the rib. This is the costal groove. Okay, this is the costal groove. Okay, that contains the neurovascular bundle. Okay, we got the muscles here. We got the nerve supply. Now we'll go to the actions of the muscles. Actions. Common action of the muscle is that they keep the intercostal space in good tension. Okay, so that main important, all the muscles have same function, keep the intercostal space in tension. What does it mean? It means that it prevents bulging of the intercostal space or retraction of the intercostal space during breathing, during respiration. So, prevents bulging of the intercostal space during inspiration. Okay, and it also prevents retraction of the intercostal space during expiration. So they keep the muscles in proper position. It is not bulged out. It is not, the intercostal space is not bulging out. It is not retracted in. Okay, this is done by all three muscles. All three muscles. The external intercostal, internal intercostal, and innermost intercostal. Okay, we got the common action, and the actions are mingled together. Okay, so we got that. Then we have to find out individual action. We have to remember that individual action is very much distinct in forced inspiration. In normal breathing, the action is not very much distinct. Okay, so external intercostal, okay, it elevates the rib during inspiration. Okay, interchondral part of internal intercostal also elevates the rib during inspiration. Okay, now what muscle cause depression of the ribs? Okay, so the external intercostal and the intercondral part of internal intercostal elevates rib during inspiration. Okay, internal intercostal muscle. Okay, interosseous part that is between the bone. Okay, this is one. Number two, innermost intercostal and subcostalis, and also sterncostalis or transversus thoracis, same thing. Okay, thoracis, they all depresses the rib during expiration. Okay, how about sterncostalis? It is inserting to the costal cartilages. They actually depress the costal cartilage area anteriorly. That means it depresses the rib. During expiration, we'll say forced expiration. So it elevates the rib during forced inspiration. Normally it works, but its work is more prominent during forced inspiration. Its work is more prominent during forced expiration. Okay, so that's all about the intercostal muscles. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Please share the information with your friends, and please support my channel. Please subscribe me. Have a nice day. Bye now.